So my name is Dr. Jill Barham. I am a functional nutritionist, a lifestyle advocate, a holistic health coach, speaker, author, all that kind of stuff. And I'm really passionate about helping women in their middle age, sort of from 45 onwards, to understand the natural processes of what it's like to be a woman and how we can enter into our later life with a health and vitality and with joy. And how do I know that? Because that's what I've been working on for myself for the last 7 or so years. So we've talking about stress. We've talked about why men deal with it better than women. We've talked about the stress hormones and how they impact other hormones in our bodies, such as estrogen and insulin, and the effects that might have. We've talked about the difference between perceived and unperceived stress, and what that's all about. And I also gave you a little exercise to do, and this was in relation to looking at how your life is at the moment and what has become kind of your new norm, and how there are things in your life that are filling you up and being great, and other things that are kind of pulling you down, and you might not even be very aware of, but are causing you stress in your life. I gave you a little extra help on this yesterday because we were talking about one area which might be affecting your stress levels, and that's to do with relationships. So we talked about the people that fill you up, the people that pull you down, and also the relationship with yourself. So today I'm going to expand on another form of stress, and this is something I'm really passionate about, and this is your nutrition. So we are a nation that is overfed but undernourished. You may have heard this expression before. One of the things that I've discovered is that, well, I haven't discovered it. In fact, Hippocrates discovered it, is that we can use food as medicine. And that when we talk about organic food now, it's as if it's something really new, but actually our parents or grandparents, what we now call organic food, they would just call food. Yeah, would you agree? So what we know is that we are a nation that is exposed to so much processing, so many additives and chemicals, either added at the beginning of our food production or as it's being manufactured for us to eat. So it's kept on the shelves, so that it looks nice, but it actually doesn't taste great. What we do now know is that our food is really nutrient depleted. So for example, it would take you 8 oranges now to get the same amount of vitamin A as it did with 1 orange perhaps 40 years ago. You would need to eat 4 cauliflowers now to get the same amount of vitamin C that you would have eaten 1 cauliflower 40 years ago. Our apples and fruit are stored for sometimes 6 months to a year at a time. So, and every month that goes by, that vitamin C depletes month by month by month. So although you might go into your local supermarket and see something that is beautiful and uniform, all these apples are all the same size, chances are that the nutrients benefit of that particular fruit is really, really poor. And of course we're getting food that is bussed in or flown in from all over the world. We don't know what additives, nutrients or chemicals are being put into the soil for all of these things that are being brought in from outside. It's a bit of a minefield, to be very honest with you. And the reason that organic food is really good is that organic farmers are not good at growing food, they are good at looking after their soil. So that's what they're super good at. Organic farmers are actually horticulturalists who are so wonderful at making sure that the soil that they put their produce in is really rich and full and vibrant, packed full of nutrients. Because if you have a soil that is full of goodness, then that goodness goes into our food. But if you have a soil that is nutrient deficient, then there is no way that the food that is going to be grown on it has any of the specific nutrients. There's a little example that I want to share with you. So I live in the middle of the countryside. I'm not in that countryside today. I'm actually in the Alps in France today. But I live in the countryside, and when I moved to my current house 12 years ago, there are fields all around us. We live on a farm, and when the farmers are ploughing the fields to put the next crop in, there would always be lots of birds following the ploughs. And every year we go to Scotland on holiday, and every year we would get all these little black kind of mites stuck to our windscreen. Over 500 miles of journey, you know, it would be difficult to get off these little black microbes off the screen. But a few years ago, what I noticed was that we were not getting those black microbes on the screen, and neither were we seeing the birds behind the tractors as they were ploughing. And this is because of the overuse of pesticides and herbicides, because now farmers don't rest the soil in between. I was brought up in Devon, so I was used to farmers resting their soil between different crops. Now we are overusing this soil, and so it is really depleted of nutrients. It's depleted of microbes. So that if there are no microbes in the soil, there are no birds following behind, because there's nothing for them to feed on. I hope that makes sense. So my best advice to you is, where possible, you need to eat as locally as possible. So getting fresh, local fruits and vegetables is a really good idea. If you can eat organically most of the time, then that is going to give you something in the region of 60 to 65% more nutrients in your fruits and vegetables than if you shop locally in a supermarket, non-organically. On one of the next videos, I'm going to be talking to you about the benefits, the pros and cons about supplementation. But for now, I hope you've got some top tips and some information about why our food is perhaps not what it seems it ought to be. So please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.